roots. Welcome back, friends. It's good to see us. I'm glad you're here. This tree, I just discussed on the GoPro. The GoPro footage isn't the greatest on this tree, so we're just going to use this camera here. But this is a situation where I'm pointing at the low side is obviously on the left of the camera. That's the low side of the ground. See up behind me, behind the right there, it's kind of higher up. So the ground, the low side of the ground is to the left, but the tree actually has a belly and it leans back towards that cliff up the back there, that little hog's back. So this is a scenario where actually the tree's low side is on the high side of the ground. Does that make sense?
From high ground.
So I'm going to fall the tree.
Let's do that.
From the low side of the tree, but the high side of the ground. I hope that makes sense, because I know I get a lot of questions on this. Let's get at it.
So there's trees here that aren't going, right? And I don't know why. That one's going right there. This one is not going, but look at where it's at. It's the last tree that's going in this cluster. So I'm just gonna cut this shrapnel up and throw it in there. It's dead skanky stuff. Look at all the bones. It's laying hard out this way. Everything's laying to the sun. You can see it. So I gotta bang them. That's all there is to it. This thing here. So what you can do is put your undercut facing a little bit down to pick up some of the low side wood on the lean. See the bones there? So if you put your undercut facing straight in line with that tree, For starters, it's going to be messy as heck. I'm going to go bone it out first, but you want to utilize a little bit of that lean. Throw it downhill, down there, that way. Okay, that's the deal. Let's do this. Let's go clean up. So friends, I've felled timber in here for years, and I know the wood in here, and it's small, but what's that all about? Oh, but it's bony. So that's why I put a really aggressive. I got an aggressive grind on it, actually. I do. It's aggressive. You'll notice in my undercuts, especially in this wood, I try to make a low stump in here, and then what happens is you get into that really fibrous, twisted wood. It's not like cutting straight across in a nice fir tree. So it's what it is. But I prefer to be able to limb than I do to, you know, I mean, digging a saw into a cut is great, but when you're bent over limbing all day, you want that thing to cut. So as you notice, that's why I'm showing you some limbing. The limbs don't last long when they nibble it, get the end of this power saw. It's like whack, they're gone. Not kick, 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 kick. So it's a balance with every different species. It is a balance, but I chose to go a tad hungry in here today, as you notice in the cuts. You won't notice it in the bucking. The only place you'll notice it probably is in my undercut. You can notice what I'm talking about. See the wood? See how it gets wavy and stringy? That's down low in the stump. Okay, so that's what that is. She's an aggressive grind. Next tree, right there. Okay, friends. So here's a scenario where he marked this tree back there. Okay, he marked it. This one's not marked, but there's a great log in it until it had its top knocked off. See that right there? There's a dog leg in it, but it's still a nice piece of wood. So, but this stuff's bony, and he's chosen to take this one, but you got this skank in front of you. Now the problem, everybody thinks it's real cool doing the old Domino show. Well, it's actually not cool. It's a hassle. It's actually a hassle. I've got a couple options here. Throw this wood. See it? Look at all the bones on this thing. Everything's on the back side, on the sun side. I could throw it down into that scramble. You're all over the place for the hoe operator. You may as well just throw it in here and keep it. I like to keep my wood going the same way. So, but here, I mean, look at this, right? It's all going to the bones, all going down there. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm going here. But if you've got to do a domino or an assist to overcome a difficult situation, I'm going to put this one, I'll cut it up, I'll lean it in there. But the one behind it, I'll put its undercut facing down the hill a bit so that when they land, they're spread out so I can process them. Is this Is this making some sense-a-roni, friends? Okay, let's get on with it. Let's cut up this shrapnel. I'm not even worried about that. I'll go cut that sucker up, I guess. I'll put a cut in this thing. How much for back there?
$12.
12K.
Go to yours?
Yeah.
Okay, 35.
There you go. And just put the change in your thing there, please. Thank you. Okay, good enough. And get what he's got marked. There's a couple in here that are marked that we got to get. That might even be one of them there. I don't think this one's marked. I think I'd have seen it. No, it's not marked. Some maples in here, but they're not worth anything. I think this guy is. Yeah, it is. This one is, and so is that down there. So these, unfortunately, friends, there's really no place for these to go. As you can see, there's a hole right there. See? But there isn't a hole because there's maples and they've got this one marked. And so these jobs like this, it's pickety, right? So here's the creek. It's probably runoff is what it is, but no matter. Look here's the tree. So really, there kind of is no place for it to go. I'm gonna try and cram it down there. But in doing so, yeah, I'm gonna try. And if it gets hung up, I'll cut that one maple that it leans into. That's what I'll do. Or I'm trying to sweep it by this fir here. See this one? I hope I can get it to cram through there. That's a lot of crown to go cramming through. But if I get it going fast enough, I might get it. If I don't, I'm gonna have to walk down and cut that maple up or a piece in there.
There we go. There's a few more trees. We're getting there, friends. We're coming up on the... We've got, let's see, 4, I don't know, maybe 8 more to go. Something like that. But anyways, friends, thanks for hanging out with me in here. I like to... Today's kind of maybe message or whatever is overcoming these little difficulties you run into where I'm not Mr. Just lay it where it lays. It's about who's coming in next. Who's next? Who's touching the wood next? It happens to be a hoe operator, excavator. We call excavators hoes here. So, you know, because listen, friends, what's going to happen is he's going to come in and he's either going to go, this is terrible. Who fell this wood? And, well, you know, this Billy Ray character did or whatever, right? Yeah. Guess what? I went there. You'll see what's next coming up. But I went there the other day after the job, and the wood was chucked out in a cold deck, ready to go. No problems, done. It's just, Oh, it doesn't matter what you're doing, friends. Construction, plumbing, anything, whatever. The trades, right? Who's next? Who's going to be touching your work next? Always think about the next guy. It's just kind of common sense about how I carry myself and carry my life, is who's next. Think about someone else other than just yourself. Well, this is leaning there. I'm just going to let it go in the back 40. So that's kind of the lesson today. And help yourself out when you're falling too. Don't create a mess for yourself. Remember those two earlier where I kind of smacked one with the other one? One when I put the undercut facing it that way and the other one facing it that way, so that when they land, they're not buried and you can still go in and process them, right? Okay, be kind, work hard, be honest, and I'll see you on the next video. Give it a thumbs up, friends, if there's something in here you picked out and thought, very groovy. Be kind, friends.